So now that we have reached the point where we have launched the product, adoption is being measured, retention is being measured, I think it's important to also look at the risks involved when you're releasing something. It could be a small feature, it could be a large product, but risks are always there. What are these risks? Broadly speaking, these risks are the I will categorize them into three buckets: reputational risks, liability, and demand related. There are a lot more, but these three are pretty pronounced and can have a lot of adverse effects. So, reputational risks are very simply any failure or negative publicity which has come across because of your launch or the existing product. Um, Reputational risks are also very difficult to mitigate, and it's like if it happens, then then you better be prepared. You better uh, be able to huddle back with your team and be able to come out with good answers. There are a lot of having an understanding of soft skills and how to build credibility, how to build trust, and how to come out clean is an art, and it's something that should not be taken very lightly. You would have seen what has happened with Facebook's reputation of lately, where the Facebook share prices dropped, a lot of Facebook employees moved out, and a lot of other products of Facebook were impacted, and Facebook had to change their strategy and they started building new products to talk about their focus on privacy and security of their users. They also did a lot of advertising in London, in Europe specifically, where they spoke about how they are actively involved in improving the security of their users, and that is all because it adversely affected their share prices and their reputation in general. Next, come liability risk. This is more so um, for marketplaces. Marketplaces are at the risk of liability almost all the time. Airbnb has seen that upfront when the house of a Atlanta user host was completely thrashed, and then Airbnb had to bring out the policies. Initially, Airbnb was like, "We are just a marketplace. We are not responsible for this." But very soon they realized that they cannot take that stand because they are connecting the users and they are responsible. They are liable for any kind of risk that can come in. Um, when the when Uber faced a similar problem in India when a woman was raped by an Uber driver, they also faced a very similar problem, and many such examples abound where a marketplace connected two people and some unfortunate incident happened. The liability is usually with the product or the company, and either the company has policies and processes in place to completely mitigate the risk or has insurance in place. For example, Airbnb did that um took that route of insuring their hosts, I think for $1 million insurance if anything wrong happens with their house. Also, similarly, if for example Airbnb also has a policy that if the person stayed at a house at an Airbnb and he didn't like the Airbnb for various reasons, maybe the Airbnb was not exactly like the one which was showed in the images, then Airbnb once Airbnb proves that via photos and via other details proves that um, that there's actually a mismatch between the experience that is being provided to the guest versus what was expected via the listing, then Airbnb also foots the hotel bill for the night up to a certain cap in that geography. So these are all the liabilities that you might have to get into, and this is something that you have to plan up ahead. That if something goes wrong, what's your plan? You cannot wait for the accident or the unfortunate thing to happen. Yes, you cannot predict everything, but things like marketplace liability and everything is pretty straightforward and should be planned up ahead. Lastly, the demand related risk. Well, some people call it a good problem to have, which is you got so much of demand, uh, you got so much of demand that your site crashed or the product ran out immediately, right? Now there are various ways to mitigate this, and in a way, yes, it's a good problem to have, but it will stay a good problem only till a small period of time. If you continue to enjoy this product selling out and site crashing as your victory, that see how much demand we are generating, very soon your customers will also run out, because they will start seeing you as somebody who is not proactive to heed their problems, and is not so proactive in supplying the product that you promised.